wedding was set for a Saturday in June. The flowers were ordered. The venue was paid for. The dress had been altered twice. And the bridesmaid, the one standing closest to the bride, had been sleeping with the groom for 7 months. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was what she knew about him that the bride didn't. 3 questions before we go any further. Why did the bridesmaid agree to stand at that altar knowing what she knew? What did she find out about the groom that made her do the unthinkable 2 days before the wedding? And why, when everything finally came out, did the bride's own family take his side? Stay with me. This one goes deeper than betrayal. Carla Simmons was 34 years old and the kind of woman who made everything look effortless. She planned events for a living, corporate galas, charity dinners, fundraisers for people whose names appeared in newspapers. She was precise, organized, dependable. She had been best friends with Renee Foster since college. 15 years. The kind of friendship built on 2 a.m. phone calls, shared secrets, and the unspoken understanding that you would always tell each other the truth. Renee was everything Carla was not. Warm where Carla was guarded. Spontaneous where Carla made spreadsheets. Renee walked into rooms, and people smiled without knowing why. When Renee called Carla in the spring of 2021 to say she had met someone, Carla was genuinely happy for her. When Renee called 6 months later to say she was engaged, Carla was the first person she told. And when Renee asked Carla to be her maid of honor, Carla said yes before she even finished the sentence. She had no idea what she was agreeing to. The groom's name was Derek Holt, 38 years old, sales director for a pharmaceutical company out of Atlanta. Tall, well-dressed, the kind of man who made strong eye contact and remembered your name the second time he met you. Renee met him at a work conference in Nashville. He was presenting. She was attending. He found her in the hallway during the lunch break and asked if she wanted to grab coffee instead of sitting through the afternoon session. She said yes. By the time Carla met Derek at a dinner 3 weeks later, Renee was already in love. Carla sat across from him for 2 hours and felt something she couldn't name. Not dislike exactly. Something quieter than that. Something she pushed down because Renee was glowing and the wine was good and Derek said all the right things all evening without ever saying anything real. She told herself she was overthinking it. She was not overthinking it. The affair started accidentally. That's what Carla told herself for a long time afterward, and in the narrowest technical sense it was true. Derek texted her in October 2021, a number she didn't recognize at first. He said he was looking for a venue recommendation for Renee's surprise birthday dinner and had gotten Carla's number from Renee's phone. They texted back and forth for an hour. Professional, helpful, normal. Then he asked if she wanted to grab a drink to go over ideas in person. She should have said no. She knew she should have said no. She said yes. 1 drink became 3. 3 drinks became a conversation that lasted until midnight. And somewhere between the second and third drink, Derek Holt looked at Carla Simmons across a small bar table and made her feel like she was the only person in the room. She had spent her entire adult life organizing other people's moments. Nobody had ever made her feel like she was the moment. She told herself it was just one night. It was not just one night. For 7 months, Carla lived in 2 worlds simultaneously. In one world, she was the dedicated maid of honor, venue walkthroughs, caterer tastings, dress fittings, bachelorette planning, answering Renee's 11 p.m. texts about centerpieces and seating charts. In the other world, she was meeting Derek in hotel rooms in cities that weren't Atlanta. She told herself Renee would never find out. She told herself it would stop before the wedding. She told herself a lot of things that people tell themselves when they are doing something they already know is wrong. And then in April 2022, 8 weeks before the wedding, Carla found something. Not a text, not a photo, not anything as simple as that. She found a name. She had been in Derek's apartment. Renee was out of town visiting family when she saw a folder on his desk. The kind of plain manila folder that looks like nothing. She almost didn't open it. Inside was a civil lawsuit, filed in Fulton County, Georgia, 2019. The plaintiff was a woman named Simone Garrett. The allegation was financial fraud. Specifically, Derek had convinced Simone, his former fiancée, to liquidate her retirement savings and invest in a private real estate venture he controlled. The venture did not exist. When Simone discovered this and ended the engagement, the money was gone. The case had been settled. Confidentially, Simone had signed a non-disclosure agreement as part of the settlement. Carla sat on Derek's couch for a long time after reading that. Then she took a photograph of every page. She did not tell Renee that night. She told herself she needed to think. She needed to verify. She needed to be sure. What she was actually doing was sitting with the unbearable weight of two truths at once. That the man her best friend was about to marry had defrauded a woman out of her life savings. And that if Carla told Renee what she knew, she would also have to tell her everything else. Every hotel room, every lie, every text. For 2 weeks, Carla said nothing. Then she found out Renee had just added Derek to her investment accounts. Carla called Renee on a Thursday evening, 2 days before the wedding. She told her everything. The affair first. All of it. Without softening a single detail. Then the folder. The lawsuit. Simone Garrett. The retirement fund that vanished into a real estate deal that never existed. Renee didn't cry. She didn't scream. She went very quiet in the way that some people go quiet when something so large lands on them that their body doesn't yet know how to respond. Then she asked one question. How long have you known about the lawsuit? Carla told her the truth. 2 weeks. Renee hung up the phone. The wedding was canceled the following morning. Venue deposits lost. Catering non-refundable. 200 guests notified by a single group message that simply said the wedding would not be taking place. Derek Holt denied the affair immediately and categorically. He acknowledged the lawsuit but called it a misunderstanding that had been legally resolved. He told Renee's family that Carla had fabricated the affair out of jealousy, that she had always wanted Renee's life and had spent months trying to sabotage the relationship. Renee's mother believed him. So did her older brother. For 3 months, Renee sat in the middle of two versions of reality, her family pushing her back toward Derek and Carla's photographs sitting in a folder on her phone. She hired a private attorney in July 2022. The attorney located Simone Garrett within a week. Simone, no longer bound to silence once the legal threat was properly framed, agreed to a recorded conversation. She told Renee everything. The charm, the confidence, the way he found the seams in people and quietly pressed until they opened. The investment opportunity that appeared only after Simone was deeply enough in love to stop asking hard questions. Renee asked Simone one thing at the end of the call. Did you see it coming? Simone was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I saw the edges of it. I just trusted him more than I trusted myself. Derek Holt was served with a civil fraud complaint in September 2022. 3 months later, a criminal investigation was opened after a second woman, unconnected to either Renee or Simone, came forward with a nearly identical story from 2017. He was indicted in March 2023 on 2 counts of wire fraud and 1 count of financial exploitation. His trial is scheduled and ongoing as of this year. Renee Foster did not get her venue deposit back. She lost $4,200 in non-refundable wedding costs. She and Carla have not spoken since the phone call on that Thursday night. Not once. Carla Simmons saved her best friend from a predator. She also betrayed her in the most personal way imaginable. Both of those things are permanently and equally true. The flowers wilted in a warehouse the Saturday the wedding was supposed to happen. The dress is still in a garment bag in Renee's closet. Derek Holt is awaiting trial in Atlanta. And somewhere between all of it, 2 women who were best friends for 15 years are living in the wreckage of a man neither of them should have trusted. Was Carla a hero, a villain, or something the English language doesn't have a clean word for? Tell me what you think below. There are men like Derek Holt in every city in this country. They don't use weapons. They use charm. They use patience. They use the exact amount of trust you're willing to give them, and then they take a little more. If this story made you uncomfortable, good. Share it with someone who needs to be uncomfortable.